Monk walked in. It seemed very dusty in there and dimmer than in the usual places. He walked toward the far end of the bar and sat down next to a big blonde who was smoking a cigarillo and drinking a Hams. She farted as Monk sat down. "Good evening," he said. "My name's Monk." "My name's Mud," she said, which immediately dated her. As Monk sat there, a skeleton rose from behind the bar where it had been sitting on a stool. The skeleton walked over to Monk. Monk ordered a scotch on the rocks, and the skeleton reached out with its hands and began to make the drink. It spilled a good bit of scotch on the bar, but it did manage the drink, and it did pick up Monk's money, put it in the register, and bring back the correct change. "What's the matter?" Monk asked the lady. "Can't they afford union help around here?" "Ah, fuck," said the lady. "That's Billy's trick. Can't you see the fucking wires? He operates that thing with wires. He thinks it's very funny." "This place is strange," said Monk. "It stinks of death." "Death doesn't stink," said the lady. "Only the living stink. Only the dying stink. Only the decaying stink. Death doesn't stink." A spider dropped down on an invisible thread between them and slowly spun around. It was golden in the dim light. Then it ran back up its thread and was gone. "First spider I ever saw in a bar," said Monk. "It lives on bar flies," said the lady. "Christ, this place is full of bad jokes." The lady farted. "A kiss for you," she said. "Thank you," said Monk. A drunk at the other end of the bar put some money in the jukebox, and the skeleton came out from behind the bar and walked up to the lady and bowed. The lady got up and danced with the skeleton. They danced around and around. The only people that could be seen in the bar were the lady, the skeleton, the drunk, and Monk. It was a slow night. Monk lit a Pall Mall and worked on his drink. The piece ended and the skeleton went back behind the bar, and the lady came back and sat down beside Monk. "I remember," said the lady, "when all the celebrities came in here. Bing Crosby, Amos and Andy, the Three Stooges. This place really used to swing." "I like it better this way," said Monk. The jukebox started again. "Care to dance?" asked the lady. "Why not?" said Monk. They got up and began dancing. The lady wore lavender and smelled of lilacs, but she was quite fat and her skin was orange in color, and her false teeth seemed to chew quietly on a dead mouse. "This place reminds me of Herbert Hoover," said Monk. "Hoover was a great man," said the lady. "Like hell," said Monk. "If Frankie D hadn't come along, we all would have starved to death." "Frankie D got us into the war," said the lady. "Well," said Monk, "he had to protect us from the fascist hordes." "Don't tell me about the fascist hordes," said the lady. "My brother died fighting Franco in Spain." "Abraham Lincoln Brigade?" asked Monk. "Abraham Lincoln Brigade," said the lady. They were dancing very close, and the lady suddenly stuck her tongue into Monk's mouth. He pushed it back out with his tongue. She tasted like old postage stamps and the dead mouse. The song ended. They walked over and sat down. The skeleton walked over to them. It had a vodka and orange in one hand. It stood in front of Monk and threw the vodka and orange into his face, then walked off. "What's wrong with him?" asked Monk. "It's very jealous," said the lady. "It saw me kiss you." "You call that a kiss?" "I've kissed some of the greatest men of all time. I imagine you have, like Napoleon, Henry VIII, and Caesar." The lady farted. "A kiss for you," she said. "Thank you," said Monk. "I guess I am getting old," said the lady. "You know, we talk about prejudices, but we never talk about the prejudice everyone has against the old." "Yeah," said Monk. "I'm not really old, though," said the lady. "No," said Monk. "I still get monthlies," said the lady. Monk waved the skeleton over for 2 more drinks. The lady switched to scotch on the rocks. They both had scotch on the rocks. The skeleton walked back and sat down. "You know," said the lady, "I was there when the babe had 2 strikes on him, and he pointed to the wall, and on the next pitch, he hit the ball right over the wall." "I thought that was a myth," said Monk. "Myth shit," said the lady. "I was there. I saw it happen." "You know," said Monk, "that's wonderful. You know, it's exceptional people who make the world go round. They kind of work the miracles for us while we sit around on our fannies." "Yeah," said the lady. They sat and nipped at their drinks. Outside, you could hear the traffic going up and down Hollywood Boulevard. The sound was persistent, like the tide, like waves, almost like an ocean. And it was an ocean. There were sharks out there, and barracuda, and jellyfish, and octopi, and suckerfish, and whales, and mollusks, and sponges, and grunion, and the like. Inside, it was more like a separate fish tank. I was there, said the lady, when Dempsey almost murdered Willard. Jack was just off the boxcars and mean as a starved tiger. You never saw anything like it before or since. You say you still have monthlies? That's right, said the lady. They say Dempsey had cement or plaster in his gloves. They say he soaked them in water and let them harden. That's why he busted up Willard like he did, said Monk. That's a fucking untruth, said the lady. I was there. I saw those gloves. I think you're crazy, said Monk. They thought Joan of Arc was crazy too, said the lady. I suppose you saw Joan of Arc get burned, said Monk. I was there, said the lady. I saw it. Bullshit. She burned. I saw her burn. It was horrible and beautiful. What was beautiful about it? The way she burned. It started at her feet. It was like a nest of red snakes and they crawled up her legs, and then it was like a blazing red curtain and she had her face turned up so you could smell the flesh burning, and she was still alive but she never screamed. Her lips were moving and she was praying but she never screamed. Bullshit, said Monk. Anybody would scream. No, said the lady, not anybody would scream. People are different. Flesh is flesh and pain is pain, said Monk. You underestimate the human spirit, said the lady. Yeah, said Monk. The lady opened her purse. Here, I want to show you something. She took out a matchbook, struck a match, and held the palm of her left hand out. She held the match underneath her palm and let it burn until the match went out. There was the sweet smell of burnt flesh. That's pretty good, said Monk, but it's not the entire body. It doesn't matter, said the lady. The principle's the same. No, said Monk, it's not the same thing. Balls, said the lady. She stood up and put a match to the hem of her lavender dress. The material was thin and gauze-like, and the flames began to lick around her legs and then began to crawl up towards her waist. Jesus Christ, said Monk, what the hell are you doing? Proving a principle, said the lady. The flames rose higher. Monk leapt off his stool and tackled the lady. He rolled her over and over on the floor and beat at her dress with his hand. Then the fire was out. The lady got back on her bar stool and sat there. Monk sat down beside her, shaking. The bartender walked up. He was dressed in a clean white shirt, black vest, bow tie, striped blue and white pants. I'm sorry, Maud, he said to the lady, but you gotta go. You've had enough for tonight. Okay, Billy, said the lady, and she finished her drink, got up, and walked out the door. Before she did, she said goodnight to the drunk at the other end of the bar. My God, said Monk, she's too goddamn much. Did she pull her Joan of Arc act again? Asked the bartender. Hell, you saw it, didn't you? No, I was talking to Louis. He pointed to the drunk at the end of the bar. I thought you were upstairs working those wires. What wires? The wires on the skeleton. What skeleton? Asked the bartender. Now come on, said Monk. Don't give me any shit. What are you talking about? There was a skeleton in here serving drinks. He even danced with Maud. I've been here all night, stranger, said the bartender. I said, don't give me any shit. I'm not giving you any shit, said the bartender. He turned to the drunk at the end of the bar. Hey, Louis, you seen a skeleton in here? A skeleton? Asked Louis. What are you talking about? You tell this man that I've been right here behind the bar all night, said the bartender. Billy's been here all night, stranger, and neither of us has seen a skeleton. Give me another scotch on the rocks, said Monk. Then I've got to get out of here. The bartender brought the scotch on the rocks. Monk drank it, and then he got out of there.